Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of Pugwatch. Today's instance is Culling of Stratholme and was brought to you by Meatshiéld. Not one of my characters, I must admit. A friend of mine started playing again and saw these videos and said, "Oh, let's see if you can actually play a warrior." Probably due to my smart ass comment in my first video is that I've worked with lots of tanks, so here we go, let's see what happens. Now, as most of you probably know with Culling of Stratholme, there is a new method where you can pretty much skip the entire intro sequence just by speaking to Chromie now, so we'll skip that, run along. Now this is not my first time playing a warrior. I've been doing a couple of practice runs on Meatshiéld here, see if I can get the hang of it, with my mate laughing at me. I must admit I have a great deal of respect for warriors after this, and after the few instances I've done like this, Paladin is just so much face roll, it's ridiculous. I can consecrate and keep aggro, whereas here I pretty much have to cycle between targets, hit it with the devastate button. As you can probably see by my bars, that's probably a non-optimal warrior rotation. I've pretty much got devastate, cleave, shield slam and revenge all in a long line. I haven't got heroic strike on there at all. It's on the next line of shift keys, which means it probably doesn't get used that often. Thunderclap I'm using a lot on my mouse, which I must admit Thunderclap I quite like, as well as Shockwave, because it does give you a couple of seconds to grab aggro before something runs off and smacks someone else. Now, this group so far have been pretty good. There's been no over aggro. The druids let me get a couple of thunders off, and no one's complained when I've lost aggro. Now, I must admit I do believe this group consists of 3 guildies. Just trying to catch a clear view of who's who. There's Gronka there again. Oh no, okay, my brother was with me at one point, but it's not in this run. So yeah, it's me and Gronka again, and again, some more randoms. I will try and get some more videos of pure randoms, because I must admit having one guildie can help influence how well the group goes as well. So I've got a couple coming up later where I'll do that just on my own, on one of my characters. Now this fight here I had a bit of a problem with. The Death Knight slapped down Death and Decay after giving me plenty of time to get aggro, and I still lost aggro. Now, a couple of times I couldn't figure out why I was losing aggro to the Death Knight. I thought it's the Frost Presence, basic idiot checks really, which I shouldn't have to do, but kind of do anyway with Death Knights. Turns out the guy's actually pulling nearly 6k DPS, but I didn't notice this till I later popped recount up and went, oh, what's going on here? I keep it running in the bottom corner of my screen, but when I'm tanking, it's not the #1 thing I keep an eye on. I must admit, Shockwave does give me a reason to turn the mobs around, because I run into them, run through them, and then Shockwave through them, which is quite cool. Now, Culling of Stratholme and Violet Hold are probably 2 of my favourite instances, purely because of the fact I like the wave format. Oculus being my least favourite, purely because of the fact that the on-combat Drake system never really works as you'd expect. If you get a good group, you can pull it off, but sometimes people just don't understand what the whole point of time stop is, etc. on that. As you can see, pretty much we're through the first 5 waves so far. That's the boss down, some loots, and then we'll begin our push through the remaining trash. This is my attempt to spark a conversation with the guild. A lot of people, I got a couple of people tell back with I hate it, and I got Gronka being stupid with I cannot lie. But I guess really this is one of the instances where you can stop and talk. I've been told by a couple of people lately that having conversations in instances isn't really the done thing nowadays. As you probably saw there, I did lose aggro for a bit. The healer is still alive, thank God for that. But yeah, I really struggled to gain aggro there, even with everybody holding back. Now I must admit, I didn't tell this group that I was a noob at tanking, because a lot of people make snap judgments and go, oh yeah, you shouldn't be tanking, etc, etc. And holding aggro off a DK doing 6k DPS when you have no idea how to really play the class is quite frankly nigh on impossible, but the guy never complained once, so I can't really argue. And Gronka's heard an ice cream truck by the looks of it as well. Easily distracted, is she? Now this one here I screwed up as well. Again, pretty much grab it, pull packs together, try and keep them all together, and then just rotate the devastates across their faces with throwing cleaves and shield slams in there. Now the Paladin healer, pretty much every time zombies come near her, she's just consecrating, which is fine by me because it means that they die and I don't have to keep running around like a nutter. Now I have got intervene on my keyboard, but I don't think I use it in this instance. It's one of those moves where it takes a while to get used to it. I've tried using it before and I end up failing or charging the wrong person. Now this pull here was a nightmare. I could not get aggro off the Death Knight to save my life. Oh, there we go. Finally managed to get aggro by killing what he was aggroing. Well, if anyone's wondering, the music here is the standard Stratholme music. What I did is recorded the video and just kept the background music in and didn't compress it along with the rest of the video. So there should be no more squeaky voices, which I've had a few people mention that it sounds a bit stupid as well. So all good. Now, Sauron the Fleshcrafter and I go way back. I've been trying to get a healer mace from him, the Sauron's Fleshcrafter, I think, actually, for my shaman, and having no luck whatsoever. And I also managed to smash the Friends tab key, and I was like, why have I brought this up? Oh, never mind. But yeah, so far, every time I've killed him with any character that's not my shaman, he's dropped it. Although this time around he did drop his headdress rather than anything else, which isn't really an improvement. Now this part here just takes a long time purely because Arthur's talks so bloody much. But, I mean, other than that, it's just literally wait for them to pop, smack them with shockwave, punch them in the face, rinse and repeat for the ones upstairs as well. As you probably noticed there again, the Death Knight had aggro within a couple of seconds. Never once made a complaint, and I did try and yank it back off him, but I must admit I've probably met my first good Death Knight. I think he used Death Grip twice in this whole instance. Yeah, this was me checking to find out whether why he had so much aggro, and then I realised how much DPS he was doing. No frost presence, nothing like that. But yeah, this guy, genuinely a good DPS, good Death Knight. I think he even used Death Grip correctly by yanking it to me so I could punch it in the face. I mean, you rarely ever see that, and he drags it back off a healer a couple of times as well. Most of the times Death Knight use it just because they want to fight one away from the pack and see if they can take it, and end up dying and blaming me. But yeah, this guy pulled it in, made sure it stood close to me. Never once complained that he almost always had aggro, which I'm glad because, as I said, I'm new to playing a warrior. I'd probably done about 3 heroics before this just to get into the swing of it, rearrange my buttons somewhat. I have played a warrior to level 65, I think my one currently is, but I've never really been interested in leveling any further. I must admit I did enjoy it, so I am tempted now, but that'll be something that'll be done later. I'm still working on with mage at the moment. Now this guy is a bit of a pain to fight. There is a tactic that I didn't know this. There is a tactic that if you stand within melee range, his charge does less damage than if you stand at range. And if you watch carefully, I believe Gronka runs all the way to the stairs in a minute. Oh no, wait, that was the other fight. Sorry, I've done this before with Gronka, and she went and stood on the stairs and just got one-shotted. But yeah, this one, he just spins around and hits everybody when they're close, does no damage. If you stood at range, he does massive damage to you. I've seen people die just because they were stood too far away and needed 2 shots on a row and they were down and out. Now, one thing I always forget to do on these instances is trigger Arthas after each stage. Usually someone picks it up for me, but I must admit I'm pretty useless when it comes to remembering to talk to NPCs to trigger next phases and that. Still, I don't mind, I like this instance. And I pretty much go nuts here. Again, I probably shouldn't have, but the Death Knight's Death and Decay picks up all the little zombies, so I don't need to worry. I just have to make sure that nothing wandered off too far. You see the healer's now got aggro, but that's possibly from a little zombie. That's the one problem I have with this instance, especially when tanking it as a warrior, when you don't quite understand everything, is you see the red bars come up. Notice I don't use Omen or anything, I just use the Blizzard one. You see the bars come up, and it's like, oh, hang on, they've got aggro, and you swing the camera, and it's just a tiny zombie. And 9 times out of 10, she'll consecrate and it'll die, or the Death Knight will drop a Death and Decay. I must admit, on my Arcane Mage, I tend to stand near the healer just to do Arcane Explosion to knock them down, and just keep them off the back. As you can see here, the Druid hasn't glyphed for Tidal Wave or Typhoon. I can never get the name right for it, but the wavy one. It just comes straight out, knocks them back. Again, slightly annoying, more annoying for me at this point because I'm not used to tanking. But I picked all these guys up. Didn't do too bad. Death Knight's got aggro again. I just can't win with this one. I give up. The Druid stood point blank firing spells and no aggro generation. The Death Knight comes over and hits it twice, massive aggro. But again, I'm pretty sure that's just because I don't know how to counter someone doing 6k damage. This was messy. I pretty much just stabbed them enough to get their aggro on my face and then just cycled through all the targets. Again, tab targeting to tank, or I must admit I click target with tanking sometimes, but really weird concept. I'm just not used to doing that. As a paladin, it's spam one button, spam Holy Shield, spam another button, spam Holy Shield. Use Avenger's Shield in case of emergency and pop your wings if you really need to. Now this guy here, we've done it in plenty of times, so we get to slap this guy down. For those of you who've probably never seen this boss, it's only in heroic mode, and it's only if you complete the dungeon in under, I think it's 18 minutes. He drops a Bronze Drake. I must admit, I'm pretty sure everybody has it, because almost everyone bar Gronka passes on it this time round. I tend to greed roll purely out of habit rather than pass, but I remember when that used to be hard to get, and it sort of really took a group all their effort, and now we can just steamroll through. Now, one other thing I should mention is that I'm not in very many epic gears on this, very many epics on this character. I'm still wearing a lot of blues. I am dev capped. Obviously, I wouldn't dare enter heroic if I wasn't. But a lot of people have said, "Oh yeah, you're not geared for this instance in heroic." I'll put it this way: my mate, whose account this belongs to, can tank Nax on this character, main tank, before all the nerfs and the patches hit. So he's perfectly geared for tanking heroics. Just people getting too fussy with their gear score add-ons. Again, that's something that I really hate is gear score. Oh yeah, you're not geared enough for this because the numbers don't add up. Numbers can be easily fooled, trust me. Skill beats numbers any day of the week. Anyway, that's Varamathra slap down. As you saw, the group pretty much did it perfectly. Gronka did drop down a Tremor Totem, breaking the sleep each time. And one of the guys got an achievement there as well. So there's nothing there I really need. So with that, I say thank you for the group and call it a day. Now this group was, actually that's probably the Druid got about 4 achievements this run, 2 reputation ones and something else. But this group, definitely one of my favourite ones. Despite the fact that I'm a crap tank, I'd probably give this group an 8 or a 9 out of 10. In fact, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving a 10 is because the Death Knight not controlling them. It's not really his fault, is it, actually. Yeah, solid. You know what? I'm going to be generous. 10 out of 10 for that group because they put up with my crap tanking. They were polite. They were friendly. And you know what? That's what I like to see with a group like that, is that they were nice, they were friendly, and they didn't complain about the tanking at all. I mean, I must admit, they were probably well within their rights, and they just never said anything about it. So 10 out of 10 for that group. It was a fantastic run. No one meddled around with the dungeon finder at the start. Everyone buffed up. Yeah, 10 out of 10. That's what I like to see. More of that, please. Thank you. Anyway, my name is Meatshiéld2K.